At just 11 years old, Buffett had already made himself a mogul by purchasing stocks for himself and his sister. Immediately after, though, the stock increased marginally, and he eventually sold their shares for $200. Today, he owns one of the biggest companies. Here are the top 7 facts about his company, Berkshire Hathaway. About Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway is a conglomerate in the truest sense of the word. Despite Warren Buffett's dislike for the term, he has admitted that Berkshire Hathaway is a unique conglomerate. Like any other conglomerate, Berkshire Hathaway is made up of holding corporations with unrelated businesses. Berkshire Hathaway, on the other hand, Buffett maintains, is not an average conglomerate. Why? Tell us why you think it'd be so in the comments. Number 7. The genuine reason Buffett owns the company. First of all, Buffett bought Berkshire Hathaway in 1964 solely to dismiss the company's CEO. Only a textile mill in Omaha, Buffett and the company agree on a purchase price for Buffett shares. Nonetheless, when the deal was finalized, the corporation offered a far lower cost than discussed previously. Buffett, enraged, instead of selling, bought the controlling stake of shares and removed the CEO, who failed to respect their initial agreement. Buffett, Charlie Munger, the vice chairman, and Ted Weschler and Todd Combs, both investment managers who assist with investment decision-making and other financial knowledge, currently share leadership. Berkshire may be among the largest companies to exist, but it doesn't mean the owner spends his profits irresponsibly. Berkshire doubles as one of the companies with some of the largest cash reserves. Find out everything later in the video. Number 6. It's one of its owner's worst investments. Buffett considers Berkshire Hathaway to be one of his worst investments. He frequently believes it to be the biggest blunder he's ever made. Buffett claims that BH's failure to honor their agreement to buy Buffett shares and his subsequent purchase of the majority position knocked him out of his original plan to start buying insurance firms, which he finally did. If you already think Berkshire's owner, Buffett, is cocky due to his dramatic worst investment declaration, you might want to reconsider because we'll soon burst your bubbles. Despite being a billionaire, he is one of the most humble people. If you stay long enough, you'll get to know more about this meek side. However, he claims that he would have made himself and other investors over $200 billion if he had invested in insurance when he first wanted to. It may appear that we spend most of our days reading yearly reports, but this is not the case. Nonetheless, we've heard of a few good ethical Indian businesses, and Berkshire's announcement will undoubtedly outperform them. It cost BH $8.5 million to enter the insurance field. However, it has paid off well in the end. One of Berkshire Hathaway's most essential businesses is insurance. Buffett claimed that BH had a foul anchor and that he fought the textile business for 20 years before altogether abandoning it. He claims that if he had placed his money in insurance instead of the textile sector, BH would now be worth twice as much. We know you enjoy such detailed pieces, so we have another one for you here. How Berkshire Hathaway became a billion-dollar company today. Number 5. Large cash reserves. In furtherance, BH has an $86 billion cash balance, believe it or not. BH retains most of its cash in the United States, ready to utilize, unlike most businesses. Buffett prefers to have at least $20 billion on hand in case of an emergency, with his first goal ensuring that the company has the money it requires to operate. Buffett and his organization explore new investments and acquisitions. If nothing appears promising, he'll consider repurchasing Berkshire Hathaway stock, but only if he thinks it's worth a lot of money. If everything else fails, they let the cash pile alone, allowing it to grow while they hunt for other opportunities. Number 4. Repurchase of shares. This is Berkshire's strategy for increasing shareholder value. Warren Buffett mentions the purchase of 80,998 number shares in his 2020 annual report. Berkshire spent approximately $24.7 billion on the repurchase. Buffett further assures investors that Berkshire's shares would never be repurchased at any price. They chose this enormous buyback to increase the intrinsic value per share for continuing shareholders over time. We'll soon do a comprehensive video on Berkshire shares, so subscribe to the channel. Number 3. it doesn't split its Class A shares. Warren Buffett has refused to allow Berkshire's Class A stock to be split for all these years. Instead, there have been several buybacks of shares. We found out through our Berkshire Hathaway stock analysis that as a result of that decision, each Class A share currently trades at an astounding $412,729. Purchasing Berkshire Class A shares is quite difficult for ordinary individuals. But why doesn't Buffett split his stocks? Give us a like if you think it's a good strategy and a thumbs down if you don't think it's a good strategy. He does it to attract only those investors who can acquire Berkshire's shares and hold them indefinitely. He argues that people willing to spend roughly $4 lakh to buy a single share are psychologically better suited to hold stocks for a long time. Berkshire Hathaway has Class B shares that split. It was priced at 1/30th the price of Class A shares when it first entered the market in 1996. The stock was then divided in half again in 2010 at a 50:1 ratio. This is why Class B shares have an EPS of $43.6, whereas Class A shares have an EPS of $65,454 per share. Number 2. Berkshire Hathaway avoids paying dividends to its shareholders. Similarly, Berkshire Hathaway has a cash balance of $3.276 billion for the fiscal year 2020. Despite its significant financial reserves, the corporation never pays dividends. Only once, in 1967, did it pay dividends. Why does the corporation not pay dividends? Buffett believes he can acquire or invest in new businesses with the cash on hand. He also prefers to repurchase Berkshire's stock using money. Berkshire Hathaway has achieved exceptional returns for its shareholders by adhering to this philosophy. Berkshire shareholders have only received one dividend under Buffett's leadership, a 0.10 per share payout in 1967. Buffett jokes, "I must have been in the restroom when the decision was made." Berkshire Hathaway's stock price has grown at a pace of 20% since 1965, compared to 10.2% per year for the S&P 500, including dividends. Number 1. Warren Buffett's successor. Charlie Munger is 97 years old and Warren Buffett is 90 years old. The topic of who will succeed Warren Buffett as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway has been raised several times. Buffett and Charlie Munger announced that Greg Abel would take over as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway at a recent news conference. In 2018, Ajit Jain and Greg Abel were appointed to lead Berkshire Hathaway's insurance and non-insurance operations. So, in a sense, they were both vying for the top job all these years. However, it is becoming increasingly evident that Greg Abel will be in charge, with Ajit Jain serving as his immediate deputy. Warren Buffett purchased Berkshire Hathaway in 1965. It was a textile company during the time. Buffett and Charlie Munger have evolved a textile company into a holding corporation. Berkshire Hathaway has become a globally recognized brand. Berkshire Hathaway owns companies such as Duracell, Geico, BNSF, McLean, Lubrizol, Fruit of the Loom, and others. That's all, guys. Everyone has heard of Amazon, but not many know how the company makes its billions. Well, that's exactly the tea we spill in this video. Is Amazon profitable? An inside look into how Amazon makes money. Thank you for watching. We hope to meet you here again.